is a region and certainly a nation that has been unstable, which is why we talk about stability. For generations, there have been rivalries for hundreds of years. We are optimistic people. Humans tend to be that. And our effort is to try to bring this together and to stop it. The answer to whether or not there's hope is the fact that there has been a response, that the parties have acquiesced and are dealing with that response, and that we are committed to seeing this problem that emerged, and now we know what to work on to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yesterday, the secretary told us at the Oval Office that the conflict in Sweden is between the Bedouins and the Druze. Do you rule out any involvement of foreign fighters or ISIS fighters in what we have seen, witnessed in the last 3 days, including atrocities against civilians?
Well, there will be obviously there will need to be some continued investigation of the nature of what's occurred. We saw, of course, the president and the secretary note, both of them, that they've been involved. And certainly our special envoy, Tom Barrack, is also, of course, the ambassador to Turkey. And we know what we know at this point. Clearly, there has to be more investigation into the nature of how this started. But ultimately, the discussions have created a dynamic where the Syrians have withdrawn. Israel has not continued. That has ceased. And, of course, there continue to be skirmishes. This is a rivalry between the Druze and the Bedouins that's, I think, 400 years old. This is, though, one of those challenges that, if perhaps confronted in the modern age with new possibilities of living together, that is the kind of thing we now know must be addressed. So we've had some success. You heard in my topper the Secretary's continued optimism. And Ambassador Barrack, of course, is returning and will be involved. And of course, I can tell you also that we unequivocally condemn the violence that has unfolded there. All parties must step back and engage in meaningful dialogue that leads to a lasting ceasefire. Of course, we know those lines from various other locations, but we also have committed to them, and we engage with them as we are also in this case. Over the last 48 hours, the United States has led the diplomatic efforts to promote real de-escalation and peace. We are actively engaging all constituencies in Syria to navigate toward calm and continued discussions on integration and a stable, more prosperous future for Syrians. And that continues. That has been the mission of Envoy Barrack, and it remains the mission of President Trump and Secretary Rubio. All right. Yes, ma'am. Humaira.
Hi, Tammy. I just want to understand, my colleagues asked about this yesterday, but did you guys get to the bottom of the misunderstanding that Secretary Rubio talked about yesterday? We see it in a different wording again today in Ambassador Barrack's tweet or post. Confusion. What was this misunderstanding, and did the U.S. government intervene in a way to assure that this misunderstanding will not happen going forward again?
You seem a little skeptical, but I don't know if I know some people at home can see some of the reporters here in the first two rows.
I guess that's a prerequisite in this job.
Yeah, yes, perhaps it is. But for those who don't know, the language from Ambassador Barrack's tweet: thankful to all sides for their break from chaos and confusion as we attempt to navigate all parties to a more durable and peaceful solution in Syria. And I noted to you already the language from the Secretary. The confusion, as was conveyed to me and was, I think, generally understood, was this ancient rivalry between the Druze and the Bedouins, and violence ensuing. The Syrians moving to that area to quell and stop that violence, and the Israelis who see that occurring to the Druze community and their concerns, then entered what they assessed was something larger than what, or even not what it was at all. I am not a party to the full discussions or to the details of obviously of all of these groups and nations, what their choices were. But when the Secretary chose and the President chose to use the word miscommunication or misunderstanding, obviously here now from the Ambassador, chaos and confusion. The good news is, the story is, it stopped as within the management of that larger conflict. Again, there's still skirmishes and other issues that, as we've also noted, the Syrian government is going to have to lead. But obviously there'll be other involvements, but lead into this de-escalation and to the stability. So this is a reminder, and you weren't here, but as I noted to one of your colleagues who asked as well yesterday, that this is a region and certainly a nation that has been unstable, which is why we talk about stability, for generations. There have been rivalries for hundreds of years. We are optimistic people. Humans tend to be that. And our effort is to try to bring this together and to stop it. The answer to whether or not there's hope is the fact that there has been a response, that the parties have acquiesced and are dealing with that response, and that we are committed to seeing this problem that emerged, and now we know what to work on to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Right. My follow-up to that is related to something that you just said. U.S. is pursuing stability in Syria, as far as I can tell, lifting of the sanctions and...
I promise you that's what we're pursuing.
Right.
Yes.
So does it support Israel carrying out these military operations when it deems necessary?
I can tell you regarding Israel's intervention and activity is the United States did not support recent Israeli strikes. We are engaging diplomatically with Israel and Syria at the highest levels, both to address the present crisis and reach a lasting agreement between the two sovereign states. President Trump has outlined his clear vision of a prosperous Middle East and stable Syria at peace with itself and its neighbors. Peace among neighbors, including Israel and Syria, is a critical component of this vision. So I won't speak to future conversations or past ones. What we're dealing with now is this particular episode, what was required. And I think we've been very clear about our displeasure. Certainly the president has, and we've worked very quickly to have it stop. All right. Yes.
Thank
Willie.
you, Tammy. Just back to your topper on Syria. You mentioned you condemned...
And let's stick with Syria for a bit while we're in it, just so you know, and then we'll continue on, of course. Go ahead.
You mentioned that you condemn the violence. Are you specifically talking about the Druze Bedouin
all the violence,
or also
all
the
violence.
Israeli
Clearly, this started between those two groups, and what we know is that violence erupted. Well, there's a continuing long issue between those two tribes, and then two major nations began to engage. Obviously, we then engaged, and it stopped, and that is, for me, a very, very proud moment. It's a remarkable situation being here at the State Department and here at this podium and taking this job is to be an observer of actions that can be taken that stop what could end up being major global horrible issues. And we continue to work on some. We've been successful on others, but it was a very heartening and wonderful to see the work in that regard. So I think that it's the violence in general that appalls the president, that disturbs the secretary, and it is what we all want, even though we've grown used to it. But it's possible. And if anyone can make it happen, if any country can, it's the United States, and it's the president and it's Secretary Rubio. All right. Yes, Sean.
Can I follow up your answer that you gave to the member said that the United States does not support recent Israeli strikes? Can we say that the United States won?
Oh, boy. Yes, I know. It was suddenly the voice of God. Don't want to give you any hints there.
That's
though.
always my aspiration.
Yes, there we go.
Just going back on serious note, you said that the United States opposed the Israeli strikes.
Yes.
Two parts to that. Was there a message beforehand that Israel should not do this, and now going forward, will the U.S. continue to reject Israeli military?
Well, as you know, I won't speculate. I'm not going to comment on what was or was not said prior to the situation that we're dealing with currently, nor will I speculate about every situation is different. I am not going to speculate or guess, none of us should, at what the leaders of our country might do under any other certain circumstance.